So you want to know how to fix anterior tilt. Pattern in the pants. I went to chiropractic school. I don't like identifying as a chiropractor. You don't have to have a dick to do this one. It makes you shorter.
Woke.
It's woke. No. My videographer's having some problems. The truth is, you've looked really strange for a long time. You've just got...
Comment stick.
Love you! Are you sure? Well, if you want to know how to fix it, you probably don't just want to give you a few exercises right now. Because if you don't know why, you're not going to know what you're doing or why you're doing it. Oh, I'm with Dr. Brittany today.
Hi, guys.
She's like, yeah.
We're going to go over some shit.
We're going to go over some shit. So I want you to sit back a little bit. Get ready. We're going to do a couple movements today, too. You're going to learn, you're going to move, and you're going to understand. So first, anterior tilt. What is anterior tilt? Let's take a look. What anterior tilt is an excessive forward tilting of the pelvis. Now, generally speaking, on women, they carry about, on the left side, about 10 degrees of natural forward tilt. Men, about 8. So anything over 10, you get into 11, 12, 13. I've even seen 27 degrees of anterior tilt before. So whenever you go back to the 10, whenever you go behind this area, now you're into posterior tilt category. And I've seen this all go all the way to -4 on this one. So people that are in anterior tilt, there are pros and cons to each, but there's symptoms associated with each one of these. So anything greater than 10 degrees is considered anterior tilt. 10 to 13 is going to be mild, 15 to moderate, and then it's going to be severe through here. Okay? So that is what anterior tilt is a forward tipping of the pelvis. You can also say the result of anterior tilt is a hyperextension of the spine, because check this out. Try to keep everything braced, because in the anterior tilt, if we go anterior tilt, which is a forward tipping of the pelvis, it becomes a hip hinge. If your back doesn't, that's a hip hinge. But what happens with anterior tilt is because your eyes like to stay on the horizon. As you flip into anterior, your body doesn't hinge forward, and you gain, what happens is you create a hyperextended low back, hyperextension. But now the body is really smart. It doesn't just create this, it creates compensations everywhere that we're gonna go over. So anterior tilt is forward tipping the pelvis, which creates a hyperextension of the low back and creates compensations above and beyond that you're going to learn about. So then you might want to know, okay, well then what causes anterior tilt? A few things come to top of mind. Number one, we spend how much of our life just sitting? And so what happens when you sit, the first 12, 18 years of your life, and then you go get a bachelor degree, and then her and I go get a doctorate degree, we're literally sitting for how many thousands and thousands of hours?
For a long time.
That's how many hours?
That's studying.
A long time. Now, check this out. What happens is this, when you are when you're sitting, your hip is flexed. And there's a muscle called the hip flexor, and there's two of them. There's an iliacus and there's a psoas. And so whenever you're sitting, your hip is flexed. And so there's something that happens in the body is called contracture. And what that means is if your hip is flexed, your hip flexor is now shortened and contracted. And this is a hip flexor that's long, elongated. But your hip is contracted. And when you're sitting there for an hour, 2 hours, what happens, the muscle starts to, it's called contracture, meaning it starts to shorten and tighten and get comfortable in that position, making it difficult. You don't just stand up and you're out of it. So what actually would happen if you stood up? You would be in this position. But your body doesn't do this. You don't stand up and go, all right, I'm gonna get my hip flexors. You extend your back instead because your eyes on the horizon. So is sitting the number one reason why? From my measurements, I've measured, so I have I have pelvic tilt calipers, and I've measured about 8,000 people's pelvic. I have probably more data. It's poorly documented, by the way, but I have more data than probably anyone else about this. And what I found was that the people that see me as patients, 70% came with anterior tilt, 7-0.
I believe it.
And it's just like, is it newer? Because you go back in the 1970s, you get into, in 80s, McKenzie and getting into disc issues. Maybe back then it was more disc because there wasn't as much sitting. I don't know the reason for this one. I know other people, I don't know if you have any data on that old.
I don't. But similar to you, the 70% that you're kind of seeing with this anterior tilt, I see a lot of that as well. I treat a lot of women who have pregnancies and then they're postpartum, and that anterior tilt just pulls you forward because of the weight of the baby. There are a lot of other reasons for that, but I see it a lot as well.
That's right, because the baby, right? First of all, you just got the weight of the baby.
Totally. The natural center of mass or gravity just pulls you forward anyways, right? So just being aware of it, and we'll go into that a lot more.
And that's the root cause. We'll get into the root. There's actually a root cause that you're not even thinking about.
Another thing for women, or just people in general who do like to wear high heels, anything lifted, calves are a little tighter, your weight is shifted forward. So to compensate so that you don't actually fall, you have to extend at your back. You extend at that low spine, you're in this big anterior tilt, and it kind of looks nice, right? For this little booty pop.
Yeah.
But is it sustainable?
Is it sustainable? Right.
Probably not.
So basically, the higher the heel you have, the more anterior tilt you're gonna go in. And even, you may be like, oh, I don't wear heels. 95% of the gym shoes you wear have a heel lift, a heel drop. Dress boots, cowboy boots, dress shoes, any heel in the back right here is putting you into more anterior tilt. So we're gonna get into how to address that later. So we have pregnancy, sitting. Women carry more anterior tilt naturally than men do. And I think there are some genetical differences too, to a degree, like bones might be built a little differently.
That means he has bad genes.
Right, we're not perfectly symmetrical.
No, not perfect, we're all pretty darn close. So don't go, well, I have anterior tilt, that's who I am.
Sit down.
Sit down. Actually, stand up and stretch your hip flexors.
Yes,
Okay.
that.
Do that. Really though, the problem occurs on this anterior tilt. It becomes a problem when you become stuck in this position and you don't know how to get out of it. And most of you are stuck in this position, meaning you carry it with you everywhere. You're at the gym. You're like, oh, I heard to do strengthen my glutes. So now you're basically in anterior tilt, trying to do hip hinges, strengthen your glutes. You're trying to do planks in an anterior tilt position. I actually have set up surface EMG before, and it detects 0 core engagement. I've seen it, none.
Crazy.
The EMG goes, I got nothing. Meaning that many of you are doing your planks by resting on your spinal joints. Understand this, it's not the exercise, you're carrying this posture with you, and you've got to break that pattern. So you carry this with you, and what happens is this. It is something called, the primary problem with this, primary, is called joint compression. I want you to understand something. Your body is built so beautifully. Your spine is designed to have 3 nice gentle curves. Gentle, gentle, and then, gentle. Curves gentle, not my aggressiveness towards the spine. The problem's unequal pressure distribution. This is your neutral spine. Your body was designed like this. God, nature, whatever you believe, every vertebra is designed to be shorter in the front, taller in the back here. The disc is designed to be its own height. And so this is the position of balance. Look at this right here. This position right here is how your spine is designed to carry itself. But whenever you add this anterior tilt, show them anterior tilt without, so if you stand anterior tilt, you're basically going to stand all your head back too. Basically, what I'm saying is that if you just have anterior tilt, this is it. So your body has to do this stuff to get the eyes in the horizon. So another thing it does is it'll shove the head forward and it rounds the back to compensate for this. Is it the chicken and egg? Is it the head forward that caused the anterior tilt? Is it the upper back that caused it? Is the back caused this? They're all connected together. Okay?
Makes you a lot shorter, by the way.
Oh yeah, it does. And we have here, let's show. Hop on here. Anterior tilt makes you shorter because this big curve at the back, see this curve right here? And especially the head going forward. Watch this, let's see what Brittany is at. Look at it, this is gonna be 61. She's about 5'1" and 1/16. Now, remove your anterior tilt and draw your head back. Okay, there you go. What are we at now? Look at that now. We're 62.5.
Yes.
Right. So you want to gain an inch? It makes you shorter. Oh, that's how it comes apart.
All those 5'11" guys, you could be 6 foot.
You could be 6
on
foot tall.
hinge.
Yeah, on hinge. Like really though, with this. So you have this curvature now where you're losing height of your body and it's compressing. And let me get a little more into details with this with you guys. Your spine is designed, when you stand, when you walk, when you bend, is designed for half of the weight to be distributed into the disc and the other half to be into the joint. Equal pressure distribution. That's called joint centration. It's from the Prague School of Rehab, and all of the programs, all of the teachings, all the methodology that I've built revolves around joint centration. It's such a beautiful word. It is the ideal position of the joint. There's maximal surface contact on the joint, pressures distributed evenly, muscles balanced 360 degrees around. This is the holy grail of alignment. And that's a position that you need to strive to have more of. But when you're in anterior tilt, what happens, the pressure distribution becomes unequal. Now look at this. The joints are in the back and the disc in the front. Take a look at this. you could see the joints approximating or kissing each other. See that? Boom. If you want to feel your joints compressed, just lean all the way back till you can't go anymore. You're hitting joints. And if that irritates your SI joint,
game over.
then that means that's the position you're living in. Whenever, not only is there joint compression, and so what happens is this, joint compression is the facet joints, the SI joint down, it even impinges the hip. Because when you go anterior, check this out, the front of the hip here, this acetabulum, what it does is when it goes anterior, it rotates and it covers the hip joint, thank you. So when your leg comes up, it bumps into it early, and that's hip impingement. Ouch. It causes impingement. Now, in the short term, yes, irritation, bone on bone, inflammation. But in the long term, what happens, your body goes, whoa, there's a lot of pressure being distributed into that joint. So your body, what it does, it makes new bone there. It doesn't make good bone. It makes a fucking mess. It just makes this stalagmites, and it's not smooth, by the way. I wish I could go into the Dremel tool and clean it up. Surgeons do that, actually. But the problem then becomes that's called degenerative joint disease. That's what they call that. Now, the arthritis will form at the joint at first, but look at this. You see this nerve canal right here? There's a hole. And now look at the joint. See the joint? It goes into the canal. So now that bone starts growing, and it actually grows into the hole where the nerve comes out. And what it'll do is it'll eventually grow and grow, and it can put pressure on that nerve, and that gives you something called spinal stenosis, which equals sciatica. Now, it's only usually 40 years old and older, because that means you've been in that position for so long that it's built up, and then it hits it. But no need to worry. No matter where you are, you can improve. Also, lastly, in this position here, you have your muscles of your low back become shortened and tightened. That's why when you walk, your back feels so tight all the time. Your hip flexors feel so tight, because there's a muscle imbalance that exists from this position. So let's get into a test, though, to see if maybe they don't even know if they have it.
True, yeah.
Let's do HBC and FDS.
Sounds good to me. Which one first?
Okay, let's start with head back crack. So what you want to do is, guys, an essential tool for you to have is a mirror. You have to have a mirror at home. You need a mirror to look at yourself, okay? And I know a lot of you guys might not be in the best shape right now, but I promise the longer you look at yourself, when you start looking for misalignments and improving them, you're gonna feel a lot better about yourself. So if there's a gap so big, you could drive a Volkswagen bus through that thing. That's anterior tilt. There, realistically, if you're looking in the mirror, so head back crack is actually, should be back. Okay, Volkswagen. So what you're actually looking for, a neutral position would be more of one where there is a I would say no more than 2 inches or so right here, just a little bit of a gap. If your back looks like that, you might not have anterior tilt. That looks pretty neutral. Now, a giveaway, this one is called FDS, face dick stick. Now, you don't have to have a dick to do this one. This one it has to touch your forehead and your nose. And now, if you have a stomach, look, you might need to get a coat hanger and make a little bend on here. But I want you to pull your stomach in super tight. And it has to touch your mons pubis, which is like right above, it's like right here.
Everyone has one of those.
Everyone's got one. And push it into here, really low. Okay, it should feel in here. First of all, is it even doing that? Or are you just like, this gap? If you're standing here and you're not even close to that, well, that's anterior tilt. You should be able to comfortably stand in a position like that. And you should be like, you know what? Maybe I'm working a little bit for this thing, but it's doable. Now, the next giveaway is this. It needs to maintain contact here. Now, I want to see you hip hinge all the way down. Good. Now, come all the way up. Stop. Did it lose its spot?
It did.
If it lost it, that means what you're doing is, it means that instead of driving from your hips, you are driving from your low back on the way up. That's probably why if you do deadlifts and that, your back is so sore, but your glutes aren't that sore because you're driving from your back because you're in anterior tilt. So not only is this, we're talking about exercises here. If you haven't put it together, this is a great exercise for this to do. It's a training plus an exercise, okay? Fantastic. You need a stick for this one. Broomstick, anything. I love these things though.
Yeah, this is great.
So, do you have anterior tilt?
Do you?
Do you?
Say you do. You do have anterior tilt. It's not gonna take a quick fix. It's not like 3 exercises are just gonna make it all go away and you only have to do that once. No. Tell them what they have to do.
I could give you guys 3, like the stretches are great. Like we could go over a flexion toe touch even, like we can do like that. We can go down here. This is nice, right? Look, you do it right, especially go down, you feel stretch. Ooh, that's nice. A little relief. But notice this is sarcasm with that one. All right, you might want to stretch your hip flexor, which is also a really good one too, you know, but right now you're stretching it in extension, so we'll get into that. Massages, chiropractic adjustments, these are great. Look, these all feel good. And sometimes we do want some relief, right?
Totally.
But ultimately, you want to get to a place where you don't need the relief stuff. You don't need the stretches. I don't know if I told you this. I've been saying this one. I think it's sticking with people. To fix your shit, you simply have to strengthen and mobilize your spine into a more aligned position. So if you're in anterior tilt, you need to strengthen it into posterior tilt for one. You need to strengthen the abdominals to draw back. You need to strengthen your rib cage to pull downward. And I went tink, 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 and you go, how long does it take? I'm gonna tell you something myself. I don't know about you, because you tend to carry more anterior too, so do I. I've carried anterior tilt, you know, and I have SI, I golf, I get SI joint issues myself, but I train this stuff every morning, 15 minutes every morning. I do all my breathing, which we're gonna go over, we'll go over in a minute. I do my breathing, I do my flexion exercise, I do it in front of me, I do it every day. It sets you up for the day. But your body is gonna fall back into these things, and it's just like to stay.
Yeah, no, it's kind of I was just going to say, it's just the way that our world is kind of designed in some senses, like the chairs that we do sit in all the restaurants, in all our cars.
Right.
Like there's a lot that we have to undo in a way, and definitely need to unlearn a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But then once you get out of that unlearning and you're in this place of awareness with your position, then strengthening and mobilizing continually, like we were talking about before we started recording, it's nice to be able to learn the 1 key, 2 key, 3 keys on a piano of movement. But then what you are learning to do with these new exercises that we'll be showing you today is that you'll be able to create this language within your own body, this language of movement, and it becomes a fluid conversation in your own movement that just is beautiful. Like what you were saying, your spine is meant to be beautifully stacked with these S curves, not super big S curves.
Not a super big. And what she's saying is great. First of all, I love it. No matter what you're doing, your daily life and our sitting, we have to constantly undo what the world, what our structure in the world is doing to us. No matter what, we have to do that if we want to win. And winning to me is staying active and pain-free and being able to say yes to everything.
Yes! 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 Yes!
And feeling good about myself, and you know, feeling that I could focus on what I want without having these sensations of pain everywhere. That's just the bare minimum, by the way. I think we should get into the actual movement. So we are gonna give you guys today. So we have, from what I know, the only program on planet Earth for anterior tilt and the symptoms that come with it. Okay, it's our Move You. It's a Move You. It's actually, I think we call it technically the lordosis program, which is hyperextension, but it's for this curve. And so what I could tell you about what it takes to fix this is it takes, and when she says language, it means this. It means you have to learn skills. You can't, you're doing the repetitions and hoping they're gonna get better. It just doesn't work. You have to learn a skill and apply that skill. And then you have to learn another skill and apply that skill, just like you would learn a language. Like I'm gonna give you guys today some kindergarten skills. And we're gonna go over 3 of them today. And just to give you, and the reason I was mentioning the programs is because this is a 9-month program designed for you to progress along the way. Structured daily routines, new exercises added every week, exercises carry over, full community support on this one, and live coaching. That is what it takes to actually, just like if you're gonna get better at football, you go, give me the 3 best exercises for football. You're like, what the hell are you talking about?
Such a dynamic sport. Life is a dynamic sport.
What are you trying to be, a quarterback? How's your arm? How's your throw? How's your rotation? How's your speed? Like, there are key skills that you need to learn. And what we found is that, and after working with about 15,000 patients in person, and we've had over 250,000 members online, is that we find that by you focusing on one region of the body first, improving it, understanding the skills, mastering it, then moving on to the next. So the first one we're gonna focus on is the back and the core area. We're gonna focus on key skills that are going to pull you out of that position. And then after this, we're not gonna go over today, I'd recommend that you go up to the program's all in order, but then it's upper back to help you with the upper back, and then we would go down below. Because this affects everything. I wouldn't even mention when you're in anterior tilt, it lengthens your glutes. Now the glutes have a hard time activating here, so when you bend, the knee tends to go in, collapsing the knee, and the knee tends to go in because the glute is the primary muscle that drives it out. And so the knee goes in, valgus knee, #1 risk factor for an ACL tear, MCL, meniscus, foot goes in. These are all products, result of this anterior tilt. So let's wipe all that stuff away and focus on one thing at a time right now. We're gonna go over to 3 right now, 3 movements that you can do. And I want you to train these with me. So set your phone up here, and I want you to set these up. And I think you could do the first one sitting, and then you're gonna need to lay on your back. So go and set your phone up, and let's focus on one part of the first skill. It's called core breathing. Core breathing, and many of you, and I'm working with the top gold-winning Olympic athletes. Some of them still can't even do this. And just because they're pro athletes, I'll tell you what, they all have issues too, all of them. So the first thing to do is to focus on a diaphragm breath in, which is going to be the stomach comes all the way out. You can allow it to come up right now. And then exhale your air. And again, when you breathe in, the stomach goes out. You're breathing down and then exhale. What many of you are going to do is if you breathe in, your chest moves up. That's the problem. I mean, you're dealing with part of this because this muscle here, the one that we're training, your transverse abdominis, it is one of the top 3 muscles that pulls you out of anterior tilt. But you're not using this. Why you're in anterior tilt? Like if you're in anterior tilt, I know you're not using this. So now, again, you might need to work on this breathing. And keep going. You know, another way to do this one too, if you have a hard time with this one, I'd like to do one hand. What do you like? Do you like one hand the stomach, one the chest to feel the stomach going out?
Yeah.
Another one to do is you can lay in your stomach and do it, where you can now breathe. At least you have feedback now.
Sometimes I do hands around the ribs, and I feel into the diaphragm expanding, 360. Still letting the belly get really big, and then exhale.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Let things just sink back. And just so you know, because I do focus on the pelvic floor quite a bit, when you take this big diaphragmatic breath in, diaphragm comes down, pelvic floor comes down, TA comes out. When you breathe out, diaphragm relaxes up, pelvic floor relaxes up, TA comes in. That's just natural with the way the pressure goes.
So here's what I'm showing you here with the lower chest breathing. Here's what she's trying to explain to you. So go ahead and take a big breath in for the lower chest, expand it, see that? Now let it out. Okay, by the way, fine, a little quick tip too. You want tips? By you strengthening this muscle, this is an aesthetic appearance. If you wonder how I've got such an hourglass figure, it's because of training my TVA. If you want more of an hourglass figure, my guys out there, you want to train this TVA. But also as a guys too, it pulls everything in tight, right?
It gets you that V look.
It gets you the
You
V.
want that V look.
It gets you the V look. And so,
Aesthetics.
let's actually turn it on now for them a little bit more.
Yeah.
So the first step is you actually breathing from your diaphragm. It may take you guys a week or 2 to do this. But when you do, the next thing is you've got 2 air volumes. You have your tidal volume, which is when you just normally breathe in, and then just breathe out normally. Then you have something called your reserve volume. That's what's left. Now what I want you to do is push the reserve out. All of it. More. That's your transverse abdominis. Now again, diaphragm breath in, push all your reserve volume out. Oh, that's your transverse abdominis. That muscle is now awakened, or awokened. Awakened?
Awakened?
Awakened.
Woke.
It's no. It's awakened. Okay. So
We're alive!
great. And so keep going in. Now we can get into other phases of this one, but for you guys right now, this breath, and the thing is you breathe. This is what we call a no time exercise. You breathe anyways.
I love that.
It's no time. Myself personally, I'll tell you what I do. Keep going. Every morning I wake up, I do a 1,000-meter row. That's 100 pulls, and it's 100 powerful full exhales right off the bat. Then I stand in front of a mirror and I do my movement work, and I'm powerfully exhaling. That's another 200. Then I get in the cold plunge and I do 40 more of those. I'm personally doing 300 of these a day just to maintain this body. Okay? It doesn't take extra time to do this though, but so now you don't need to do planks for a core. Every exercise becomes a core exercise. How cool is that? You're just using more of your muscles that you have already in you. This is your natural core set built in from the factory. That's it. A lot of you guys talking about wearing back braces. You have one built in. It's your TVA, okay? So now that you've got some activation of your transverse abdominis, and let's show me stand up. This muscle, if you now allow your pelvis even to move into a posterior as you exhale, that you could feel, and I want you to watch yourself in the mirror. When you fully exhale, do you see the curvature reducing? My videographer's having some problems over here. Listen, you get live time. Why don't you show him right there, Irene? Jesus. So now that is the breathing. You should feel when you exhale yourself, this pulling into posterior. That is you moving out of there. Now let's move on to adding a bridge. We're gonna add a different type of bridge. It's gonna be glute. Remember, there's an anterior tilt, so we need to strengthen into posterior tilt, and that's done with the glutes and also the breath. So now the first thing you're gonna do is, don't worry about the breath, but just focus on posterior tilting your pelvis. And what I like to do is I like to get you on your heels. And now I want you to posterior tilt your pelvis. Now roll your pelvis up. Roll one vertebra, one vertebra, one vertebra off the ground. Don't flip into anterior tilt. No. Control this thing. Use a mirror. Let's roll it down now one vertebra at a time. Like this one, roll, roll, roll down. Roll it up again, pelvis up. Excellent. Now you're gonna sync up the breath. Now that you're down here, inhale. Now powerfully exhale, tidal volume, reserve volume, roll up to the top. Pull the stomach back. Whoa. We got glutes, we got TVA. You're working the muscles now. You're retraining these patterns that have been in you. You're breaking these patterns. Okay, this is life. It's about hitting, keep going. It's about hitting points that are like you're frustrated. You feel like this and that and you need a breakthrough. Okay, this is where this is where you're gonna find a breakthrough. You're gonna find them in this. You gotta dig deep mentally, dig deep physically into this thing, okay? You need to overcome this. And so now what we're gonna do, let's add now a flexion. Now, many of you guys might go like kind of like a crunch, but instead of this, let's put our hands on our sides. And you know what I like to do with people too is have their head up on something too. We'll use this. Here you go. Try that out. So now we're only going to do something called a rib flexion because anterior tilt is a 3-component. It's a and then We address the breath, right? We got some posterior tilt. Now we have to get the ribs flexed down. And so simply, I like to do a couple ways to do this. You can do and just reach your fingers down. It's not much of a movement. That's it. Right there. Go and back it off. Now this time, Brittany, on the full exhale, reach the fingers all the way down. Oh, look at that. Perfect. And back it off again. Remember, when you're crunching, we're not rolling the spine up. You're only moving the rib cage down this much. That's it. The rest of what you're doing is you're compensating by doing it with your upper back. It's not doing anything to help the issue. Look at this. That is great. So now if we combined it, can we do a trifecta? So now we're gonna do the exhale, the little pelvic floor lift, and a little press down. But there it is. Look and hold that position, hold it. You guys, this isn't about counting sets and reps. This is about a breakthrough. This is about reconnection. You need to hold the end range of your rep. You need to feel the contraction. The sets and reps are not gonna fix you like a solid, controlled contraction with awareness will. So you might even feel a stretch in the back. It might even be creating some pulling sensations. There could be some scar tissue in your back. It could be pulling on some joints. I want you, instead of using the word pain, to use the word sensation, right? What sensations do you feel in your abs? What sensations do you feel in your back? Pulling, burning, tightness, contraction. Right? Sensations. Don't use the word pain anymore. It's not descriptive. There's the word pain, there's 500 categories underneath that. Describe the sensation. Great. So now when you stand up from that one, you want to do some application. Don't just go, okay, I did my sets and reps, give me a beer. Come on. Raise your IQ a little bit here, okay? So you're going to rub 2 brain cells together and realize, okay, I just stood up. I just stood up. Apply it, right? Let's apply the posterior position now. On the breath, let's apply the rib pull down position. There you go. And look at yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself. Is that curve flattened? Keep going.
Get the stick.
Get your stick again. And he goes, how often should I do this? I told you guys, do this every morning. Look, there you go. Exhale. Is that getting easier? Are you pulling into it? You're applying this thing to your daily. And you probably feel stretching here, pulling here. You probably feel a little strange, but the truth is you've looked really strange for a long time. You just got used to yourself looking strange. You look yourself in the mirror and go, look how good I look, and you don't. You've got this big swooping curve, you got this hip that's up in the air, and you've just lied to yourself, gaslit yourself. And the truth is, you're feeling the correct muscles right now. Look at yourself. This is a position of power. This is a position of strength. This is a position of healing. This is the position of even the breathing, right? Do you feel your nervous system deregulate after this?
Oh yeah, I feel calm.
Calm.
Calm, confident, collected.
Calm, confident, collected. So last thing, couple tips. We did our tips today. We talked about the mirror, we talked about the stick, we talked about the shoes. Yeah. Show Irene, because she goes, the video's too long. Show Irene, Kevin. Get her in there. That means wrap it up. So, in summary, your anterior tilt to forward tipping of the pelvis comes from a myriad of lifestyle things from the past, spondylolisthesis, there's all these things that can cause it. Okay, don't get stuck in the past on this one, all right? You just focus on now improving it. And so anterior tilt, it can cause all kinds of symptoms from SI joint pain to spondylolysis, spondylolisthesis, hip impingement, tightness in the back, and even up in the shoulders, impingement. It's all related, and because it causes a full body issue, it causes compensations above and below. Okay, to improve anterior tilt, focus first on the core. So we recommend, like the programs usually are about, well, I guess we rearrange them for the specialized programs, but they are core based first, and then we move to different areas of the body. No easy exercises to do it, okay? You can stretch all you want. This is going to fix it. This is root cause, what you just did, root cause. The thing with root cause, it's like this. It doesn't give you a quick hit. It may. It's like taking a pill. That's the ultimate quick fix, right? The root cause stuff, it's a slower build. It's like putting money in your 401 and gaining like 8-9% interest. It starts like this, but then it starts stacking quickly. And that's just like working on root cause. It takes more patience to do this, and it's always worth it in the long run. We went over today 3 key movements with this thing to address it. There's 3 components, right? You've got the hips that are forward, the ribs that are lifted up, and the stomach sticking out. So we address the stomach sticking out by the breathing. We address the rib, the anterior tilt, the hips with the controlled bridge and with the glute activation, and then the rib boobs with the pull downs. And then you combine them all together, and you stood up and you practiced it with your stick and your mirror, right?
Yeah.
How cool is that? Do you guys like this stuff? This is like a podcast YouTube video. Mm-hmm. I think people are gonna stick around.
I hope so. I hope you go and you do this. You
Yeah.
try.
Say something like if you stuck around.
Ah.
Say if you stuck around, comment pickle or something.
Oh yeah, if you stuck around to the end, comment, we'll send somebody a t-shirt for the first person.
Comment woke.
Comment woke.
No.
You gotta wrap it up.
Anti-banana back.
First person to comment anti-banana back will send you a free Move You t-shirt, fix your shit. And you can wear it, it'll remind you to do this stuff. That's what the whole logo and the brand is designed. I made it so you can be reminded to do these things, right? You have to be reminded to move you. To move
Only you can.
Move you!
Move you! Bye!
Your screen's good. Whoa! Oh, that's it. Oh, you guys know our program. Link below on that stuff. We have discounts for the Vivo Barefoot shoes. Program links below. We have a 1-week free trial to start the program. Go in there and go do it. All right, it'll change your life for the better. Get the Vivos, get your stick, get your mirror, go fix your shit. I love you guys.